Hello, everybody. Welcome to the podcast, aka Nerds and Squares, presented by Block Party, aka Block Party Podcast. I'm Captain Zeus, your lovely host here. These are my fine co-hosts here. We have a new one here. His name is The Voices of. Oh, you thought I was going to talk about you real quick. We'll get to you in a second. Calm down there, little man. Yeah, Waji rebranded himself to The Voices of due to legal reasons and lawsuits. Wanting to avoid all of that. So it's sad. Shed his skin and become anew, baptized in the words or voices. And Nova is back for this Star Wars podcast episode here, and our guest host Roman.
Hey, what's going on? My name is Roman.
And it's Roman.
Grogu, all the way.
Speaking of Grogu, how do we feel about this guy's name?
Gosh.
Go ahead.
Now, if we're being honest,
be honest.
Every one of the species has kind of a unique name. Yoda and Yaddle, you can see they were kind of going for a theme.
There's a
little bit, but then you look into the lore and you see there's one, Minch. I was like, all right, cool. So there's maybe not like such a theme to the name. And then we present Grogu. I kind of like it. Like it. Not gonna lie. Yeah, not gonna lie. Kind of like it. It kind of fits. Short and simple.
I was kind of iffy when I first heard it. I was like, no, this doesn't roll off the tongue. This isn't like a Yoda, power. You know what I mean? I mean, if it was like this big buff mini boss dude from a video game, he's like, my name is Grogu, you go ahead and fight me. That's what I think of when I hear this name.
I think of Goku.
Wow.
Name-wise.
Did that.
I mean, there's power there,
Saying. You just saying, man. Someone take this away, please.
Someone didn't like that.
Lord. That's how we're starting out. Okay.
Oh, I'm so freaking done. I can't believe I just said that.
Believe it.
Believe it. What are you other gents, Nova, voices? What are your thoughts on, Baby Yoda, aka the child, aka Grogu?
Go for it, Nova.
Just like the name, just fine with that.
I mean, his personality works too.
We don't exactly get like a, baby name dictionary, whatever it's called, registry for Yoda species. So, the only thing we get is that they all start with Y. Grogu does not follow that. So
nope.
It just flew out the window. So I guess they can be named anything technically.
Okay.
Because so like Ahsoka, communicating with Grogu, he could have chosen any name. He could have rebranded himself.
He could have.
He could have been like, dude, my name's like the Destroyer. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he could have been something entirely different, but no, kept his birth name, I guess. Or maybe that's a cool name in his...
what if that's his rebranded name?
Yeah, like maybe Grogu is super popular with the other...
Where he's from.
Yoda. Yeah, so,
Very common.
Yeah, it's a very known name in the Yoda species.
Because there's so many of them.
Oh, yeah, because there's so many. They communicate so often.
Like Grogu is like Chad in like other species. He's the Chad of the species.
Just remind me of the thing in Lion King where they're like, at least he's not named Brad. Like,
Then Minch is like the Earl of the species.
Minch is just kind of there. Everyone forgets about him. Is he even canon?
who?
I don't think so.
I think that guy's Legends.
Pretty sure.
Minch.
Who?
But it's still there.
It's there. Yeah. Just see what they did was they looked at Minch and they're like, this is a decent name. Grogu is what we're gonna call this one.
Yeah.
I don't think about that. I don't think I like that. Kathleen Kennedy's like, we're going with Grogu.
You think Kathleen decided on that?
I mean, it's a cute, adorable man-child. I mean, I'm pretty sure she would have a say on the name there. I mean, unless it's all Jon Favreau, because Dave Filoni definitely didn't come up with that name. I swear, Dave.
What if he did?
Up with that name? Oh my gosh! Just don't tell me that. Just don't tell me.
I'm gonna slide that one under.
We're just gonna kind of sweep that under the rug real quick. But that episode was freaking dope. But it was also, in my opinion, a little bit of a letdown.
Really?
Yeah,
How so?
So one, I like the actress that portrayed Ahsoka in the live. I can never say her name right. It's last name Dawson, right?
Rosario, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes.
Rosario Dawson.
I like her as an actress. She's a good actress. I really would have preferred if they would have just kept the voice actress to be Ahsoka for two things. One, she portrays her in literally everything else. Two, when she's cosplayed as Ahsoka, which she looks pretty dang close to it, so I'm pretty sure she would have been a pretty dang good.
Got to add a lot of orange.
Yeah, a lot of orange in places people don't want orange to be. You know what I mean? Like eyelids. It's just a weird place for orange. Yeah.
Eyelids, yeah.
Yeah, because that's what we're thinking about. But I mean, you could tell there really wasn't much stunt doubling going on with the fight scenes with her, which not a bad thing. It was kind of like with Bo-Katan, the reveal was a little bit of a letdown and not much happened, which is fine. But this season's kind of been like, we're hyping you up because these characters in it. Yeah. And then when you see these characters, like episode 1 with Boba Fett, it's like, that's it. You get a little something, but that's
Half
it.
Half a second.
And it's just
Burnt
a face. Yeah, just chiseled face.
It took me 2 takes to, like, oh, that's probably Boba Fett. Second, like the first watch, I was like, who is that ugly freaking guy?
Who's this rock face man? Like, what's going on here?
And I was like, oh wait, that's that actor. Okay, gotcha. This is where we're going.
Yeah, and the whole situation when she went to that one village was, at first I was like, okay, what's the point of this? It doesn't make any sense. But then you learn she's got some Beskar, and then when they're fighting, she's asking about Thrawn, and I was like, oh, these are some good connections. I like this spice. Yeah, we'll dibble dabble in that a little later. But it was, I don't know. I just felt like it wasn't as season 1-y. It was a bit of like a roller coaster that you just went down too soon. You're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just me. I mean, Grogu, his name, I mean, it's fine that we know what his name is. Necessarily need to know. The whole Force telepathy, that's a cool aspect of it. Kind of just threw that in there,
Yeah, if it's me, I feel like we were so let down by the new movies.
Oh yeah.
Anything we can get on these new, the Mandalorian revealing all these new characters or characters that we've already seen in Rebels or in the Clone Wars, I'm like, any little bit, I'm just like, it's real.
Yeah.
Finally. So,
I mean, it helps that you have Dave Filoni, George Lucas Jr. Working with Jon Favreau, who's a great director, on this series. Yes, like you have some legends working on this, so the series is not going to fail.
The next George Lucas, absolutely.
He's Junior. That's what I'm going to call him now. JLJ, George Lucas Jr.
Jilge.
Well, even though it's supposed to be G, but JLJ sounds better.
Gilge.
So yeah, what are you guys' thoughts on that?
On what?
Everything. Life. No. The episode.
Oh, okay.
Ahsoka, all that stuff. Come on.
I'm gonna be honest. Right when they actually showed Ahsoka and the fact that she kept utilizing the fact she would turn off her lightsabers and then she would disappear in the fog. I'm gonna be honest, that whole time I was already sitting there, I was like I was just a happy boy the entire time because it was so hype. And I can understand the aspect of taking the voice actor to portray her, but also Rosario looks extremely similar to Ahsoka when it comes to even how they portrayed her in Rebels, as well as and another thing, I've always seen Ahsoka portrayed as more an African American character. Not to get onto that thing, but that's what I've always seen her in the universe of, so it would be weird to have I don't know. I liked how they casted her, and I think Dawson did a great job with it. And
yeah, I mean, it wasn't bad. I was just kind of preferred the voice actress. Rather would see some of that in there. Do a little mix of the voices. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and if I'm being honest, like whenever we're listening to Ahsoka in The Mandalorian, she's a little bit more mellow tone. She doesn't like enunciate as high of a pitch. I mean, that's just probably just her voice. But it definitely would have brought back some good memories if it was like maybe lip synced by Ashley. I don't know who's what
voice actress, female.
Ashley, yeah.
Yes.
From the Clone Wars, yes.
Yeah, Ashley Eckstein.
There we go.
Yes. Yeah,
Or like I said, even if it's like a little fusion of the voices, so that way it's like
bit.
a little bit more unique. You know, I would have been cool with that.
Yeah.
Well,
They got money, they can do it.
it's Disney. Come on, we know they got money.
I mean, last year they spent 15 mil per episode on The Mandalorian.
Shock me.
I know, it's, I mean, worth
Hopefully
it.
they don't
but
hit a Netflix
come
thing
on.
and start having to like amp up all their prices every like 6 months.
I mean, it's Disney. They're not going to amp up their prices.
I was about to say, I was like, sprinkle a little sarcasm on
A
that.
little sarcasm in there.
Okay, but yeah. So, what do you guys think the next? Like, obviously they introduced the whole Grogu thing. So first, let's address how do we think he got out of the temple?
Ooh. Mm. Who wants to take
How,
this
like,
first?
What do you guys have? There's
I'll
a couple of theories that I've like I wrote down
So
that I
here's,
could get your guys' opinions on, or you guys could just make up your own. I'm
I'm gonna make up one real quick, and then we
Yeah,
can hear
same.
multiple
Go
ones.
for it.
So they said that he escaped Order 66. What probably happened was, and I know you told me one of your theories, and it's kind of like stealing a little something from there, but it was a top secret, not necessarily mission, but he was top secret. Like, he was not known to everyone.
More separated off, yeah.
Correct. I mean, Yoda is probably like, we do not have that many of us, and we need to train what is left, because he's at the time of this is 50 years old, at least. So he was around.
Oh, at the time of Mandalorian.
Maybe 20
Yes.
years old.
Yeah, he
Okay.
was at least around.
Quick.
Okay, go ahead.
So I'm just gonna. This will actually help you. He was
Oh,
born the
yes.
exact same year as Anakin. Yeah, just putting that in. He was born the exact same year as Anakin. So
That threw me off.
But he was this small instead of
But he
Yeah.
this small.
except he was an egg the size of a ball, and they could bounce him off the walls. Yeah. So, but yeah, he was born the same year as Anakin, and that's
a-
like
a
been
spider monkey you throw into a tub
confirmed.
and just like.
That's so weird to think about. Like, you have this big bad Darth Vader, like 6'8" character, and then
and then it's eating like eggs from a random canister. So yeah, take that, and that'll be what you.
Okay. Okay. Anyways, so Yoda's probably like, whatever. We don't know what happened to Yaddle. Straight up, like, she just kind of just poof. So he's like, there's not many of us in the Jedi Order, so we're gonna train you, but I ain't gonna let people know because the dark side's clouding my judgment for stuff, and the dark side's around here, yada yada yada, Yoda stuff. And so he probably had a specific group of clones and at least one Jedi protecting Grogu. And when 66 happened, that Jedi most likely either wounded and or almost dead, killed the clones that, betrayed, sent Grogu off, maybe, to Obi-Wan, because he's like not dead at the time. And Obi-Wan's like on Tatooine, he's like, I'll get him somewhere safe. This could tie into like a possible Obi-Wan TV show, but he's like, I'll get him somewhere safe since there's not many of us left. And he gets him in a capsule, sends him off somewhere, and he just kind of chills for a little bit until the Mandalorian stuff happens. Which, that'd be a cool way to tie in Obi-Wan in there.
30 years of chilling, though. He got to eat somehow.
Photosynthesis, my man. Photosynthesis. I don't know. I mean, he could be being taken care of by someone, It's like
So
the
I
whole
got you a little
Luke
bit on
deal.
that. So
Ooh.
there's actually there's a theory that they talk about where Coleman and I can't pronounce this because it's literally KCAG. He's introduced in Revenge of the Sith as like just a random Jedi within the Council, but then he's also brought into the Darth Vader Marvel comic series.
Oh, this is spice.
And he's a Jedi that the Inquisitors are unable to find. He was also stationed on Coruscant during Order 66, and that was shown and that was explained because I don't remember who was talking about it, but like they had said that Cox was you gotta be careful with that name. That he was there. He's also a lesser Jedi, so it would like not cause plot holes if people be like, well, how is if this person's here and then that person? So that could be somebody that you could throw into your little theory there.
Yeah, he's that Jedi that was
Coleman Kasaj.
We're gonna say that. Kasaj. Yeah, Kasaj was the one that got him out.
Yeah,
Kasaj Ventress.
Kasaj Mementress.
So yeah.
But yeah, that's
he also was aware of secret students within the Order's books.
Yeah, literally that just boosted my theory that I literally just made up at the top. That I just made up at the top of my head like 5 minutes ago.
Like, because apparently he knew about Cal Kestis. That was like a whole big theory. So he knew about Cal Kestis because I guess Cal Kestis was also a secret student.
Yeah, they kind of threw a little something in there at the end of the Clone Wars, which is nice. I like that.
Yeah. All right, so who's next?
So if I'm making my own like theory, not try not to like absorb new information from you guys, but we already knew where almost every Jedi was at the end of Episode 3, and we know that whenever more or less. Now we know that I guess he was specifically at the Jedi Temple as it was happening, and Anakin was pretty much in an all-out rage, killing everything in its path. So there has to be another Jedi that helped him escape. Somewhere somehow that we haven't learned of yet. Maybe like a lesser Jedi, maybe a certain old female Jedi temple librarian, maybe. I don't know.
Jocasta Nu.
Not trying to name any names, but there's so many there's so many possibilities that allow him to escape. Now we know that he couldn't have escaped on his own because if he's 50 right now and then he's gonna at 20 years old he's gonna eat more. Yeah, so he can't escape on his own unless he hid. By the way, the Force told him to hide.
They have like air vents.
Yeah, he's the imposter.
He vented.
All I know is that he couldn't have done it by himself, at least as far as I'm aware. He hid, but if he hid, I feel like Anakin probably would have sensed his overwhelming.
Is that a child?
Or yeah, like he can tell.
A child.
Someone had to help him. Well, we already know where every Jedi was at that time, so I'm keeping an open ear. And
it could also
new characters here.
Cal, from the game, could also have something to do with it as well, because at the end of the Jedi Fallen Order, he's looking to go find the next gen or the current Force-sensitive peeps, which seems to be a recurring theme in a lot of like games and movies or games and shows that they've been trying to do for Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, that could also have something to do with Grogu. He's one of them he finds, and some bad stuff happens. He's like, we gotta get you somewhere safe.
He could be in a video game, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a nice little something to,
But Nova.
Okay, so this is what I'm thinking.
Ooh.
I don't think it's a Jedi that helped him.
Oh!
Because, Disney, here's a Jedi and toss him in. But, like, throw someone in. So I think, someone maybe who wasn't a Jedi, but,
Cad Bane.
Worked at Cad Bane's children.
Cad Bane.
We know that episode.
I'd be shook.
He's a big bounty.
Oh yeah.
Someone
here's guy
around that area. Maybe even the postman. Man. I'm just joking. But just someone who's working there and try to assist them, taking them away. And then I feel like it would be like someone low-key trying to take care of him, but like the Empire is like already on that, so like Grogu's moving each time, and each time he's witnessing like family or protectors watching over him, but like each of them dying, and you know, because like they talk about like a lot of trauma he's gone through. Like, of course, it could have been like maybe he saw some kids dying or something, something like that, or
Probably sensed it.
yeah,
He
since
said
kids
that.
dying, or maybe he's witnessed Empire, like stormtroopers coming in and messing up these protectors that are watching over him. But like each time
Inquisitor.
he's moving on and on and on, something like that. Like you can always go down the Jedi route, but I think that's a route that would be pretty interesting. So yeah,
They
and
could also
like
go
he's
ahead.
just sorry. He was just like kind of just because like the Empire knows about him, right? You know what I mean? They're telling
Yeah,
Mando,
they're
hey,
trying to
yo,
find it.
go
We
find.
want that
We
ass.
know about
Yeah.
this thing. Go find. So like, if they know about it, like like somebody else gotta know about it, watching over him. So because like he was by himself when Mando found him, but like he didn't just like
Appear.
float there and like, okay, well I'm gonna wait here for 30
He
years.
was definitely placed there.
I don't. Yeah. So
So just a little tidbit here. It's funny you mentioned the whole non-Jedi helping him out, because there's this discontinued game that was under development, 1717, that was happening right before Disney took over Lucasfilms. It's basically takes place in the underworld of Coruscant. The guys from I want to say it's Uncharted helped make this game, or was going to make this game. And you're like a bounty hunter in the slums of Coruscant doing bounty hunter stuff, and the mechanics and everything looked really cool.
Like Naughty Dog?
I've never played that, so I can't comment on that
I
specifically.
think so Naughty Dog made all the Uncharted.
Okay,
Yeah, it
so
would've been
then
Naughty
yes.
Dog.
As well as Battlefield.
I thought you said Night Dog. I'm like, I don't know what that is.
Naughty Dog.
Nutty.
But yeah, it may have been, but that would be cool if they wanted to bring that back, their own little something on there, as long as EA is not involved. And that'd be a cool way to explore, hey, we're gonna get Grogu to safety, or it's like a little side quest where you help someone get him to safety. That kind of would help on what Nova was saying. But yeah, that's what it reminded me of.
Yeah.
or maybe like droids watched over them, because droids, they can live longer than most people. I mean, they're a little bit more low key. Like stormtroopers don't really run up on droids like, hey, get on the ground, or I don't know.
Roger.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But
Roger.
maybe there was like a droid caretaker or something that was watching over. So
Nice tidbit.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
And now what everybody's been waiting for, the voices.
the voices.
So, one, I do like what are you going by, Roman? Is that what we're going by?
Yeah.
Okay. I
Yeah.
didn't realize I've been like doing stuff this whole time and
That is
listening.
my
Like,
name.
okay.
Don't wear it out.
So, I did like his whole like librarian thing. Like Jocasta knew that was one that I saw. So, I saw one that was Anakin. Now I don't believe it, but they were explaining some of the stuff, and honestly, like the Born in the Same Year thing threw me through a loop because.
We were in the
All I
same
could-
graduating class. Grogu.
Well, all I could think of was like, what if Anakin felt that in the Force? And like, it's never explained like how Baby Yoda like it. I mean, a lot of people skep on like the whole Yoda and Yaddle thing, which obviously that is a very high possibility.
They're
besides the
asexual.
fact that it goes
Let's not
against
do that.
Besides the
Through
fact
the
that it goes
Force.
against everything that the Jedi stood for. But Anakin broke the code too. But we see how that works.
It was a
out.
tough time in the Jedi Order.
Yeah, they were just horny as heck. That's what they were.
When you drink a couple of drinks and the
Couple of blue milks with Jack. You gotta.
couple of
Exactly.
not so death sticks, it just happens.
Yeah. So they talked about them being born in the same year, and perhaps Anakin felt that in the Force and wanted to use that. Another instance is that because of how little and how young Baby Yoda actually, Grogu, would have actually been, that it could have actually made him feel pity, which that They explain the only reason why they feel this way is because then it would shed an entirely new light on Anakin Skywalker that they would be able to actually expound upon, and it would open up a new gateway for
A TV show.
Star
Like his
Wars.
good side.
Not a TV show, but like for Star Wars, because they addressed like the amount of turmoil that Vader dealt with in the comics and like the pain that he felt. So he definitely had a lot of regret, and he definitely did have a human side to him because of the anger that he had towards Palpatine. So that's why I was like, you know what? I could actually see that maybe he did feel a little bit of pity. The other one is Mace Windu. I would love it to happen. I would just love that he got thrown out of that window, landed somewhere as nice and cushy, got back up and thought, I gotta save Baby Yoda, and went into there, figured something out.
Got one arm, bitch.
But it would have been great.
Yeah, I mean, Obi-Wan survived. The fall from the cliff to the water.
Everybody,
but he had the high ground.
He can jump from whatever that warehouse room was down to the floor to meet Grievous. It's the Force that lets him land softly. Come on,
everyone
he still
who
had
ever
one arm
fell in
left.
Star Wars lived.
He can force.
Except
I don't know.
for
He can live.
But the thing was,
he's good.
Solo.
Kenobi had the high ground.
That's true. He had the highest ground.
But I mean, like, Kenobi lived, Darth Maul lived, Palpatine lived. Only one that didn't is Solo, but they still have money, so who knows?
Wait.
Oh God.
If they bring back Solo, I'm boycotting the rest of Star
Wars. let's not ruin it.
So we moved to Kathleen and why she should
back to why Kathleen should leave. Be in charge.
Yeah. Well, I feel like Anakin though during that time, like you were saying, he literally just cut off my man's hand off, and he literally goes on to say like, "What have I done?" And so during that period of time, I don't feel like he's evil Anakin just yet. Like I feel like he's confused.
Yeah, like he's enraged.
Confused Anakin. Because, like, okay, we see his face when he's just about to strike those kids down. Like, he looks pissed. But honestly, I feel like it's more like, well, shit, now I gotta do it. Like,
and avoided them.
I just assisted helping kill one of my freaking masters.
Who kind of hates me.
You could kind of see the sadness in Anakin's eyes before he ignited his lightsaber. Yeah. It was kind of sad to watch.
Yeah, so I mean, it's very possible that, hey, bro, just
after he like cuts his arm off, he leaves the premises, and Baby Yoda's just like, Herm. He's like, I ain't gonna kill you. We're gonna get you out of here.
I saw this one meme that was like, oh, go ahead.
Well, I also thought about like, okay, so Mace Windu obviously like fell out, so it's like, what if he was just? I mean, we don't know how. I expect that Anakin had a lot of confidence during this. And so, like, when you're in confidence, you don't care. You can go as slow as you want. Like, you know that you will get everybody that you need to. So, almost if Mace, like, had a kick in where it was like, I can't beat them all. Like, I gotta do something. And, like, just straight up booked it to the temple, got Baby Yoda out as fast as possible. Sucks that he didn't get any of the other kids out, but that's okay. Because
he's like, none of y'all matter. Grabs the Grogu. He's like, I'm out.
But I don't know, the being born in the same year and the fact that they say that and like they mention that is just something. It's very sus to me, especially because like, Anakin was the chosen one. So it's like, what are they going to try to completely get rid of Skywalker, and the fact that we made 6 movies about it and be like, oh, he wasn't the chosen one, this guy is. And it's like,
goo goo gaga.
Rey Skywalker, so 9 movies.
It would hurt.
Come on.
It would hurt. We're not going to talk about Rey Skywalker. Rey Skywalker. Her name is Rey Palpatine, and anyone else.
You just blew my mind, though. I didn't even consider the fact that it could have been Mace to get Grogu. I mean, yeah, he has half an arm, but what Star Wars character doesn't have half an arm?
Could you imagine just looking up, like, at the Jedi Temple, like, damn, I gotta get back all the way up there.
Shit, though. This is like,
One arm, probably didn't have his lightsaber, and he's, like, pissed.
Yeah.
And it's Samuel L. Jackson, so you know something's about to happen.
Yeah.
It'd be really cool cool to see like almost a continuation. Like I would love if like a random episode of something started and it was almost like a flashback of Grogu, and like you legit see like Samuel L. Jackson like, like, and then he starts like running through everything. Like that'd be so cool to introduce that. But go ahead, Nova. Sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say, well, there were other people at that temple, clones. I'm not saying a clone just suddenly like snapped out of the order. Like that would be very, very hard during that time. But you know,
I'm literally gonna say something.
There are instances of clones being able to fight back through it, but like, well, but some of them literally have to get it cut out of their damn head. But you know, you really want to say something, but I just want to toss in clones are very much possibility.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Of something.
You know what clones could go in there and help save the day? The Bad Batch.
What?
The Bad Batch.
Yeah.
How?
That's a great question. It could happen somehow. Because they do just kind of like leave that planet. And we don't really hear what happened. And Fives took the chip out of his head. So most likely if the chips were in the Bad Batch's head, they took him out.
Just like...
Get it out of your head now. He's like, what? You know, just out of their heads.
Just imagine Boomer being like, get it out!
But that would be so cool to like hear about Order 66 happen.
That'd be a dope episode.
And then
oh my gosh,
they go over there to try to help. Mace Windu is like, are you guys good? And he's like, you guys good? It's like that awkward moment, and he's like got a baby in his hand. He's like, what happened to your arm? And it's just like, what happened to your heads? Like, and then they all like, that helps him get escape because it's a small possibility Mace Windu would have made it out of there by himself. But I'm like, as you say that, I'm like, that would be so cool because they're wanting to do a Bad Batch TV show anyways. That would be a cool way to like do the ending of that series.
Oh yeah, can we
or like the start?
Or maybe even have that at the beginning. Yeah, I was about to say. Because here's the thing. Okay, say they don't want... I mean, they have the money for it. But say they don't want to throw Sam L. Jackson back into it. You use the Mace Windu from the Clone Wars. Use the voice actor for it. Dirt cheap. Have him run the last end of it. And just snag Baby Yoda. Maybe even he gives Baby Yoda the Bad Batch. And the Bad Batch are now tasked with it.
And
that
kind of be Obi-Wan.
Kind of be redundant having, like... these masked guys also do it again. It's like they have the man.
But it could be like 2 or 3 episodes.
And
like
maybe that's why he felt connected to the Mandalorian and why he attached so fast because he was protected by guys that looked like him. Because like
think of where Baby Yoda was found. Grogu was found in the very first episode that he was found in, that he premiered in. He was all alone in some nowhere place. I mean, yeah,
it's like, it's what, like 30, 40 years time gap between 3 and the end of 6?
Yeah.
Is it like, it's 20. I think 20 actually.
They might be like, it might be super old.
Yeah, 20 or 30, something like that. But I mean, still, they're not going to go into everything there unless it's like a flashback from the Mandalorian episode.
Yeah, and you probably got bounty hunters and
the
Empire chasing after.
It would be nice to have like tidbits in some of these shows, like an Obi-Wan TV show, Bad Batch TV show, Cassian, whatever, where they're like all trying to get this guy or get the cargo away into this safe zone. It's like they're handing it off one by one.
Then the last episode, you just see them like open it up, and it's from the back, and you hear Baby Yoda's sound.
And you just see his hand.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. An animated Baby Yoda. Dear God.
Okay.
Yes.
I think we just ran amok with.
Yeah, we definitely did.
Yeah.
A little bit.
A little bit.
So
steer that towards.
Here's an interesting theory. So people feel that which I don't agree with this because I honestly did not care about this character whatsoever. People feel that there was no explanation really behind the whole idea of Snoke. So what a lot of people feel is the reason why the Empire is trying to get Baby Yoda is because Palpatine wants to use his DNA to copy and make a Snoke or make a clone for himself. The reason why it's so messed up and looks gigantic and is all deformed is because they try to merge it with other DNA, possibly Plagueis, because like he does resemble a gigantic, nasty humanoid, and Palpatine would also be the type of guy to keep Plagueis' DNA so that he could make it like that.
Why you gotta say things that makes you want to explode? Okay, so literally after I saw the whole episode, the episode before the Ahsoka one, the ones before Bo-Katan, where he's like, yeah, we need, Grogu's DNA for this experiment. And then you see those big chunky soldiers. One, I thought those were guys who were like zombie soldiers or like mega chunk force soldiers. Yeah.
Chalk boys.
Some chunks. Two, I was like, the only reason they would use his DNA because he's so force sensitive is for experimental soldiers, or because Palpatine wants to clone himself. My theory too that you mentioned Plagueis. Yeah, he wants to be a baby Yoda. No, is Plagueis is actually Sidious. What happened was when Sidious killed Plagueis, Plagueis basically took over Sidious and, in a sense, continued on the whole spreading, disease kind of thing because he survived 3 trilogies. He has a clone body, 2 clone bodies, because technically Snoke is his clone body. It just has a mind of its own that he was able to control from the back scenes. And then he has his actual clone body. And there's more clones of him. It just goes into the whole Plagueis deal where he's infecting everything and he will not die. There is not going to be a way for him to die.
I could see that.
And then, at the end where he's like, I am this Sith. I mean, cringe, but where he's like the one, I am everything. It kind of put a little something in there, which could help why they would need Yoda's or, Grogu's blood, because Grogu's species is very strong in the Force. So if you're making a clone body, you're going to want that thing to be a little hefty on the Force.
Yeah, that's why they were saying. So real quick though, I'm lost a tiny bit. Are you saying that at the end when they fight Palpatine that you think Palpatine was a Plagueis? I'm confused on that.
No, my theory is Palpatine was actually Plagueis throughout the original and sequel trilogy.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't think so, only because of how different Plagueis is in the comics compared to Palpatine.
Well, yes, but it's also the Disney version of it. That's just how I think. I'm like, it's a possibility.
I could see it, but I don't know. I also think Plagueis is such a good character that it was ironic that he couldn't save himself from the thing that he loved the most. He valued his apprentice so much, trusted so much, died by his apprentice. I love that story arc because it makes sense.
Oh yeah, Darth Plagueis the Wise.
Exactly.
So to speak. No, I don't know how I feel about that because Disney, the new episodes of Disney Star Wars, they just played so much on I guess Palpatine living and then he's still alive, and then after falling down the well and he's still magically here. I feel like if they pulled another card to say, it's actually Darth Plagueis this entire time, I feel like it's another wow. Okay.
Well, I mean, they're not gonna do it. That's it. They're done with the sequel.
People would be like,
are they though? Are they though? I mean, Kathleen's still in a chairman in office.
It's because
Disney, write that down.
Write that down.
Don't post this
give
video.
them any ideas. Not ideas.
John Boyega.
Cut me out right there.
John Boyega, Daisy Ridley, and Oscar Isaac said they're not coming back for anything Star Wars related now.
Good, because they don't like Kathleen. Dude, Daisy's got so much beef with him. I'm like, I feel bad for her.
I mean, they didn't do Rey right at all.
No,
they didn't do anyone right at all.
No, Finn was so underrated.
But that's the universe of movies. We're getting back to the shows. We're getting
okay.
Did y'all hear about the Pedro Pascal beef before season 2 was released?
Yep. Where he was like, I want more FaceTime. And Dave Filoni's like, you're a Mandalorian from the Watch. You don't
you
get
signed
FaceTime.
Up for this. You signed up for this. What are you doing? Yeah. I mean, he'll probably have maybe 2 more face reveals.
Yeah.
Max.
The series Max. That's
exactly.
It.
Yeah.
What's it called? Bo-Katan takes off mask. Mando, what? Put back on.
Grabs his gun with his madness.
Instantly mad. Why could she take off her helmet? Come on.
Dude, what the hell is
Grogu
this?
looks at him like, how come I can't see your face, Dad? Huh?
You don't get to.
You can see me, too.
I just thought of an ending that would just mess people up for them.
Well,
he has no face.
So was that a face mask or that we saw in the first season?
It's for COVID.
Oh. Because, it extends to a galaxy far, far away.
Don't take your mask off.
Yep. Okay. voices. What is this ending that we're gonna get messed up on?
No, okay. So like, I'm just imagining. So, Mandalorian is actually like
Bless you.
is like protecting Grogu, doing everything that he can, and what's his name? Is it Mofta? Is that what they call him?
Moff Gideon?
Moff Gideon actually does catch up and is able to get him some way. That's how like they're able to like obviously Snoke is a
That's
thing.
so
they did it.
funny you mentioned that.
But then like I'm just imagining like an end scene, like Mando just sits down,
Yeah.
takes off his mask,
Bless you.
and you can just actually see like the sadness on his face for messing up his mission.
That would be
Okay, but
Yeah.
does Moff Gideon express
no.
like emotion? I know we saw like a slight smile at the last episode, episode 13, but does he express sadness? I don't think he's the kind of guy that will like.
No, wait. Are you?
express
No, I'm not
himself
talking
during
about-
defeat.
No,
I'm not
he's
talking
talking about
about
Din
Moff.
Djarin like
talking
expressing
about-
sadness.
Oh, I didn't catch that. Ooh.
Yeah, I'm talking
was
about
blessed.
Yeah, straight helmet. Sad.
talking about
He
the
probably slipped
Mando
down a slight
just,
bit.
like sitting there taking off his helmet, and then just like you see the sadness on his face for the fact that he lost
His son.
his mission,
Oh.
and like
He's not a
just
son,
screwed it
he's
up
a
for him.
mission.
Now
Get
I
that
feel
right.
like you can express so many expressions with the actual face, but I feel like Disney they're doing such a great job with just leaving his helmet on, looking
Outstanding.
down a tiny bit, and letting the music play the part.
Honestly, I could go for either or on that theory. I feel like that would be a good like season finale in a sense, where it's like a Halo moment where he takes his helmet off, puts it down, and you just hear the music, but then it zooms from the helmet like to his face, and it's just like sadness, and then black.
Sad.
Ooh,
Like
Sad.
that would, and then if it's like that sad Star Wars, like classic Star Wars music, it'll hit feels.
And then like they'd come out of the soundtrack, and the last track is "The Loss of the Child."
Oh.
oh,
Just,
Oh.
it's just like,
Had
it
to
just
hit us with that.
hit
Hard
hard.
to hit us with that.
Oh.
Oh, it's sad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny you
Um,
mentioned that because I forgot who I was talking to about this, but I'm like, they're basically teasing for the end of the season that Moff's gonna get the kid, and man just gotta go grab the kid. Like that's it. That's basically what they've been teasing. I think we're gonna see the Chunk soldiers in this upcoming episode, which by the time this is released, it's probably already came out.
Probably.
But I mean, that would be nice. I mean, you can't tease them chunks and then not show them. Like
Oof.
that's just
I think they can.
this is Disney.
They teased a random clone trooper at the end of episode 1. They
They
still haven't
teased
said anything back.
Boba Fett. Yeah, what is up with that? Like, can we see what happens next? Come on,
Yeah.
Dave.
I think they're gonna play into that a little bit later. Like maybe he's gonna come in at the end of one episode and somehow save the day.
Oh,
or
works with
something.
Moff Gideon,
Don't tell me.
and then he tries to take the armor. He's like,
Don't
"I'll
tell
do
me.
it, but give me his armor."
Oh wow, that'd be pretty crazy.
I mean,
That would
Boba
be
Fett's helmet has a dent in it. He doesn't want his crappy armor anymore.
because
This
that would
armor
be
looks like
dope as
garbage.
He's like, I never liked this anyway.
I like this.
Give me that Beskar boy.
I feel like that'd be really nice, though. That'd be really nice. And plus, there's the tracker is still on the ship, so Moff's gonna get them kids.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna get the kid like in the next episode or two.
Now I gotta ask you guys: do you think Grogu is gonna speak verbally whenever he develops the ability to speak? Do you think he's gonna speak the same as Yoda?
No, I think he's gonna speak like like an actual person, just because of the people he's around.
Okay,
Yeah.
now here's the deeper question: British accent
What?
or what?
British accent.
We're not gonna address that.
He's gonna have a Pedro Pascal accent. That's what he's gonna have.
Oh yeah,
Bro, oh my
raised by his
gosh.
daddy.
Yeah.
Bro, no, it'd be crazy if like, what if that race? Because here's the thing, we never heard Yaddle. We only ever heard Yoda. What
No,
if
we
that
did
race?
hear Yaddle.
We did.
Yeah,
Did
like
we?
she said like 2 sentences
When?
in the first episode. Like it was in the beginning when we first see her. Like she does.
Does she talk like Yoda?
Yoda, I'm ready.
She speaks like legit regular. She speaks regular.
Okay, so what
And
if it's
Yoda
pretty
did
much,
too at
I
first.
gotta rewatch the first episode. I didn't even
I
catch
did
this.
not even
What?
I didn't notice that either. But like, what if their race mimics who they're around the most. So like, what if Yoda grew up with masters that talked like that? And like, it'd be crazy if they actually did decide to do what all the fans want and do an Old Republic show or something in the middle of that, and they show young Yoda and his master talks like that. That'd be fantastic. But what would be crazy is legit if like the child starts sounding like
Pedro Pascal, yes.
Yeah, that'd be freaking cool.
So, I mean, they're technically doing the High Republic in the comics. They're about to do that, which we never wanted the High Republic. We wanted the Old Republic.
I want Revan. I want to see a 6-movie series about Revan and his life and all of the people with it.
I mean,
that's what I want.
That's oddly specific. Obviously, Keanu Reeves has to be Revan. We all want that.
I don't care. As long as they just do it. Like... And at least make one of them R. I don't care. Just one of them.
It's Disney. They ain't doing that.
Then put it on Disney Plus. TVMA. I don't care.
TVMA.
I want something R.
Scratch.
So it's PG-13 R.
So you're talking about Grogu. They want him, DNA and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Only watched the episode once. Did they bring up the very sketchy topic of midi-chlorians in that episode?
They only had M count.
M count.
Oh!
As soon as I heard M count, I was like, "Whoa, what did he say?" Like,
I ignored it. I didn't want to believe it. I'm like,
what did she say?
Because like,
well, the insignia for that planet was on some of the people that were guarding Baby Yoda. Because when the first episode came out, I literally went camping with one of my cousins who's like been a Star Wars fan, like saw every single one in theaters the night it came out, like because he's that old. And he even brought up, he was like, if you watch the first episode, he's like, you can see at one point it like slow pans behind some of those enemies, and 2 of them have the crest that's shown on the planet that clones. I can't even. I forget names.
Planet of Clones?
The planet that clones, that did all the cloning.
Camino?
Yes,
Yeah,
thank
Camino.
you.
Yeah.
Gosh.
That
I was going to say Coruscant, but I'm like,
that
this ain't
facility-
no Coruscant.
Oh, I saw that too. Yeah, they had the little badge there. Yeah.
Yeah, that facility all had those badges on, and they were guards at the facility. So that was why people were like, what? Why? Why is he being guarded by the people that were guarding the clones? Why?
What if he's a clone? Part of the actual order that one Jedi Order did was he secretly took a DNA sample of Yoda and cloned him. Yoda found out.
Hey, this isn't the Force Unleashed. Stop that. Stop that.
So I thought about that. The only thing is, they could. Oh my god, I'm gonna help that theory actually. That could explain why the Empire wants to get him, because they found a way to clone someone to make them a Force sensitive.
Starkiller returns.
That's very, 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 very true.
Okay, this is getting
And
so
I'm mad
intense.
that I
a bit of a
just thought
stretch
about
for
that.
me.
You're mad that you just confirmed a theory that may or may not
Stop!
be true?
We're not confirming anything. I'm mad that I thought of that.
You just got it right. What?
That's 2 times you have helped support my theories.
I know.
Disney writing it down.
Kathleen Kennedy's like, write that shit down, write that shit down.
Yeah.
I have no other
she gets
ideas.
Most of her stuff from like acid trips. So, gosh.
What if Rey was a Palpatine and a Skywalker?
Oh my god!
Bruh.
And a clone, because she is. It's like, what?
Okay, so we're gonna
okay.
move off of the Mandalorian because
Talk about
this will be endless. We're gonna move
That's
off to
valid.
the other shows that Disney and Lucasfilms are going to want to launch.
Yeah.
For the Star Wars universe.
Yep. 4 different shows. I'll just say them and then we can talk about each one.
You got it, boss.
First one being the Ahsoka series.
Mm.
Next one being the Obi series.
Mm.
The one after that being the Cassian Andor and K2SO series.
Mm.
And the Bad Batch limited
Mm.
series as well. So let's start with the Ahsoka.
So my thoughts on this real quick. The Ahsoka one, first of all, we have no information on it. They'd like, hey, there's a show that we're doing. That's it. Great. My thought, and probably the only thing that makes sense, is they're gonna go find Ezra, because she does mention where is Thrawn. Thrawn and Ezra went missing at the end of Rebels.
Yeah, they hopped
So
out.
Ahsoka and Sabine went to go hunt for that booty and, came up empty-handed. So most likely if Thrawn's out and about, then we get to see him live action in that series at least, which will be so cool. And the series will be about finding Ezra, where he's been, and what happened. I feel like if they do that too, Ezra, they'll find him, but he'll be like in one with the Force kind of thing, like a super OP Yoda in a sense, but he's like super pacifist.
Is he the one that had the lightsaber that was also a gun?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay,
The
I was just making
phaser.
sure. I could not remember if it was him or somebody else. But
He
yeah,
didn't
okay.
have the two piece.
It was like a
Yeah.
stun gun as
It was
well.
sick. It was dope. It was
pretty
dope.
Kind of cool.
Only
But-
cool thing the good side had, and then Inquisitors over here flying with their lightsabers. I'm like,
It's a helicopter. Like,
Okay.
Oh, you can do that now. Yeah, that's the only thing I could see them doing for the show, which would be cool. But that's it. That's all I got.
So there was somebody that was talking about like the reason why, like some of the like hidden Jedi's never took like a one of the sisters' lightsabers or anything, and they pretty much explained the reason why the sisters used their lightsabers was because there was so little training for them that they like harbored on the fact that their sabers were crazy. Like that was like their main thing. Like they were just super defensive and offensive, double bladed, so they could be as aggressive as possible or block a ton of stuff. Whereas with the Jedi, most of them came from the temple, so they had training, so that they could have combated it. It was pretty interesting.
Well, I mean, a lot of the Inquisitors are ex-Jedi.
Some, yeah.
Like 90% of them. Like the Grand Inquisitor was like the Grand Temple Guard for the Jedi.
But with that, you also have the whole idea of like the Sith code. Like they use their anger, so they want something that's more offensive. So having something that's just like OP and like crazy to the normal person, where the Jedi has something that's more reserved because they like to take their time. They like to like break down stuff. So
Don't tell Anakin that. But, yeah, that makes sense.
Mhm.
All right, gents. Where's our other theories? Come on.
So with the Ahsoka series,
so as far as Ahsoka's concerned, I don't know. I feel like she was. I mean, her storyline is so open. Like we just
Yeah.
see her leave and come back. I mean, there's a little bit of Rebels where she comes back within the whole time warp thing. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen it. But
What are you doing here?
There's like other than her meeting Ezra and being in that whole time warp, maybe she explores that a little bit more and tries to find more information on that. But I mean, she could be literally anywhere. That's all I gotta say. Like I don't know. There's endless possibilities.
It's true.
endless.
Bursty?
I mean, it just makes sense on literally seeing her, like, where's Thrawn to, then thus connect to Ezra. I think that's just the only thing that makes sense. So I'm backing you up on this, Zeus. That I don't know what other route that you could get like a full thing on. You know what I mean?
A Grey
So-
Jedi Order? Make it canon,
no.
please? Pretty please with a cherry on top?
A Grey Jedi Order fights against the idea of the Grey Jedi.
And that's what the series is about.
But what about Thrawn and how he gets kind of sucked away with those hyperspace squid, whatever they're called?
Squids.
Hyperspace squid. Yeah, I mean, how does he get out of that? Like, where do they even take him? There's so many.
They have
so
to
many ideas that
explore
could be-
how they escaped. Like they have to.
Yeah, absolutely.
He'll get spit out somewhere. I don't know. Yeah, basically.
Intergalactic what's that guy? Intergalactic Jonah story. Just gets sucked up and just like, oh, we'll drop you here.
7 years and 7 nights. I was spat out of a space whale out of hyperspace. No food or water. Landed on
Oh, yeah.
Tatooine. Hate sand.
He was okay, but he
All
was
right,
in a ship
Anakin.
though.
Have you seen that meme where Mace Windu's talking to Anakin? He's like, he's the leader of the Sith, and he controls sand. He's like, you son of a bitch.
You dang it.
Son of a bitch, I'm in.
You son of a bitch, I'm in.
Oh my gosh.
Uh,
So there's a lot of people that think that the Ahsoka series will bring in Sabine Wren, And they also think that they might bring Bo-Katan in. Not that it's actually like a straight thing, but it's something to add in, especially because then you'd have
Mando.
two pretty big female characters, Ahsoka and Bo-Katan, both inside of that. So
Well, I mean, technically 3, but I guess Sabine's not a big character.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
No.
like, we're just gonna leave that out.
I wasn't thinking about it. I wasn't thinking about it. No, I wasn't thinking about it.
Yo, previous wielder of the Darksaber and all. What do I know?
If they brought her into like live action, she would. I hope they'd make her to be like a pretty hyped, like major character because she deserved it. She was a major part in Rebels, and she should be a major part in Mandalorian if they so choose to bring her back.
She was a great character.
She'd definitely be like a supporting character with Ahsoka, just because like they're obviously gonna pull on Ahsoka as the main character.
Now
she's too popular, her sabers are already coming out on everything, so it's like
now if Kathleen Kennedy is still in charge, then we might see her in the background graffitiing some things, but that's about it.
No, Dave Filoni's gonna be like, "Oh, don't worry, I got this. Hey, we're gonna leave your insignia there," and then every episode, it's just like little something. It's like, "Where'd you go?" "Oh, just doing some work." And then every time they leave, it's just like insignia, lightsabers, guns, and pew, 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 or something. I don't know, whatever they want to do as grown up Sabine. But.
All right, so next series that's coming. Well, I don't know chronologically when all this stuff is going on. I do know that the Bad Batch is coming in. It is set to be after the events of Clone Wars, so post 66. Filoni is in charge, as well as all the main writers and animators from Clone Wars, Resistance, and Rebels.
No one even talks about Resistance. Let's not talk about that.
It's
canon, I know. Let's not talk about it though.
So how much do you have to go on that this is actually going to be a real tangible series?
It's releasing next year.
Yeah, so it's confirmed.
They have art and everything. Like this is confirmed.
Seriously,
it's confirmed. Yeah.
Now this is news to me because I would think that since they had like maybe 3, 4 episodes, I forget how many episodes they're in.
It was like 4. Yeah.
Since the fact that not many people already, a lot of us like nerds watch Clone Wars, but other than children, not a lot of adults already watch Clone Wars. So the fact that they're going to make a whole new spin-off series of just this one, batch. Unless it's very, very crucial to the Star Wars timeline, it's kind of hard to believe that they're actually going to release a series about it.
So it is a limited series, and it was because of the fan reaction that was for the Bad Batch. Like they saw a lot of people responding to it very well, so that's why obviously Disney's gonna pull on that.
Give me that money maker.
Money?
So,
okay.
They did say limited series though. It's not gonna be like a reoccurring season. Possibly.
It'll probably be like an 8 to 10 episode season.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with like the Obi series.
Yeah.
The same thing with the Obi series. The Obi series is also a limited series.
We'll get into that.
Obi limited? Maybe we should get into that right now.
You want to get into that right now?
Better not be limited.
I want to talk about them Bad Batches, but whatever the fans.
Now go ahead with Bad Batch. Go ahead with Bad Batch.
Go for it.
Okay, so real quick, I want to see what they do after Order 66. We kind of saw in Rebels, Rex, Wolf, and them. They kind of went off on a planet just hunting big desert worms, which that was kind of weird. Didn't get how that happened. But since Fives is with the Bad Batch, like I mentioned earlier, Fives could have helped them survive Order 66 by taking the chips out of their head, because same thing he had to do. It's probably them. It may or may not be them like helping the Resistance and or like resisting helping them. But they end up doing it anyways because they're like, we just want to be alone. We want to be on our own kind of deal. There's like a lot of possibilities they could do because it's a group of oddballs and they stand out. Like they're not some inconspicuous group. Like they're just by looking at them, you're like, I don't know you, but you are a recognizable person. Like you're a big man. You have glasses like no one has glasses in this universe.
You
like,
can snipe good.
You have a robo hand. I don't see that every day.
Now, if we're getting deeper into like why the Bad Batch actually is so unique from the different people, the different clones, you can kind of take the fact that they have this foreign implant in their head maybe that's why they're the Bad Batch. Is maybe it reacted bad. Maybe that's why
Malfunction?
they're so exactly, yeah. And maybe they don't need to have their chips removed. Maybe it fried and made them
They kind
mutate
of
in some way. Maybe
they
they
did
don't need the chip removed.
they
That's why
did
they're called the
explore
Bad
to that.
Batch. They got
They did
pregnant.
That's terrible. But they did explore into that in the Clone Wars series with, I think it was Fives, but it was a couple of clones whose 66 chip fried, and they turned on the Jedi like in the middle of a freaking crucial fight.
Yeah.
And that was nice. I mean, not necessarily nice to see a Jedi just die, but it was nice to see that option explored. It would be cool to go further into it, and then maybe like some more personal stuff about like, this is me from when I was popped out of this tube, and I went through tough times. There's other ones like, nah, I had it pretty easy. I'm just kind of crazy,
Yeah.
Just explore each one individually. Maybe not like each episode is for like one person, like. But I mean, like I said, there's so much they can do.
Yeah, Mace Windu was like, "Can I see the receipt on those clones real quick?" Like,
I gotta return this one.
Sorry, you're
what
at your
just went on?
14-day period.
But on
Gosh
the real
darn
though,
it.
can we
We
give
can return
a,
them.
can we give a moment of silence for Tub? Poor Tub.
R.I.P.
All right, continue.
Not Obi-Wan.
Okay. So the main reason why the Obi-Wan series is set as a limited series is number one, because Ewan McGregor has expressed that he doesn't want to become a show actor. Although it would be a show actor for something gigantic like Obi-Wan, he has expressed that like he doesn't necessarily want to get locked into it, and he also has upcoming projects. So the limited series is because if they get done with the first one, they do not know when the second one would be able to be filmed or
If it does.
released because of the upcoming projects he has. He actually said in an interview that he has projects leading all the way up to 2024, and that was pre-COVID. So if we really like, I mean, I would love a second season, but breaking and like allowing for this is most likely the filming is to start in 2021 because of everything going on with COVID. So it'd probably be releasing 2022, like late in 2022.
Maybe.
So the next possibly getting as 2025 or 2026. I know people love Obi-Wan, but it's also like, are we going to beat the dead horse, or is it like, do we let it be as one season?
High ground.
So pretty much allowing to see how the first season goes is one of their main reasons. They know that he's a fan favorite, but they do feel that there's other projects that might pique more interest. Also, they said financial reasons, which the only thing I could understand from that is the fact of if they have all these seasons and
They got all the money. They got financial reason. I don't.
So
no way.
here's one
Mickey Mouse
thing
knows
though.
what he's doing.
I agree with that, but here's one thing though, is like Netflix doesn't talk about it much, but they've said in interviews that they have it's called the 3-season algorithm. That pretty much after 3 seasons or 2 seasons, Netflix cuts a show because they make no more money. So Disney could start to see that because of how low Disney Plus is, the fact that they partnered it with Hulu Sports and Spotify.
Well, I mean, they own Hulu and ESPN.
Yeah. So like having all of those kind of like spread out, I don't know. There's a possibility because Netflix is dealing with the same thing and so is Hulu. So that's why Hulu's doing all the live series. So I could understand some of that, especially putting it into a show that like people will just buy a month free and then go for it. So
I had a thing real quick when we were talking about rated R stuff. Technically, since Disney, I'll get back to the the Obi-Wan. Since Disney owns Hulu, they do have like their rated R like Marvel shows and whatnot on Hulu. Like I know
like Hellstrom.
Yeah. Runaways, not
Deadpool.
really hard, but that's like a hard PG-13 soft R. But if they did something like that, that's probably where they'd want to put it because it's less family-friendly Mickey Mouse fun house, but it gets away with it's still canon. But
yeah, so that's the Obi series. It's set to be after Revenge and before New Hope.
If we're being honest, I would love to see a reenactment of Revenge of the Sith, maybe like in Clone Wars, like cartoon series. sort of type of animation, that'd be, ooh,
That would be nice.
spicy. Maybe like a reenactment just for like a flashback within the Mandalorian. That'd be kind of cool.
I feel like it'll happen between Rebels, though. The story, it'll be between 3 and Rebels, just because
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to go into the whole Vader v. Obi-Wan and redo that.
Yeah.
What
And that's
Probably not.
no.
that's another reason why they said it's a limited series. They feel that Rebels did explain a lot of like Obi-Wan's in between there. There's obviously, they said that there was gaps obviously, but they didn't want to just stretch something for the sake of.
So what happened too was it was going to be like 8 or 10 episodes, but they had to get rid of like 2 of their writers or whatever, and the director was like, yeah, this is like too much of the Mandalorian, so we're going to have to rewrite this, which in my opinion that's not necessarily a bad thing that it shows mimicking a successful show, especially when you're on Tatooine. Like he's not going to leave Tatooine for really any purpose unless he absolutely has to. But I think it's down to like 6 or 4 episodes, between 4 to 8 episodes. My guess is 6. But the director of like the second episode of season 1 is the one in charge of the entire series. I'm pretty sure Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are going to help with it, but I don't know what to expect with it. Everyone's obviously, love Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan and Obi-Wan in general. And there's a lot they could do, but I don't necessarily think the Obi-Wan TV show is necessary, but I do want to see it and see what they can do with it.
No, I feel like if they're going to do something with Obi-Wan, it has to be with him and Qui-Gon. There's no, a lot of people are wanting like an Anakin and Obi-Wan like adventures in between, sort of Clone Wars episode 1 and episode 2.
I was like, so you mean Clone Wars?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. But no, I feel like Obi-Wan's backstory is important if that story is going to be a thing, as well as him leading up to Qui-Gon.
More Qui-Gon. We need more Qui-Gon.
Yes,
we got so little. We got so little of him. We need more Qui-Gon.
We need more Liam Neeson in our lives.
Truly.
I mean, I don't know if anyone brought this in, but like, what's it called? Right after, what's it called? What's it called?
66.
Yeah,
Yeah, what's it called?
Before he
Order
gets
66.
old, maybe he's like doing things. I don't know what things he is doing. Maybe
it's a tavern kind of thing. Is that what you mean?
every episode he's just reviewing different space bars or something. I don't know.
Yep.
But
He's spitting space bars.
space bars.
They call it
Drinking with Obi.
They call it space jumping.
Yes.
But I don't know. This will be awesome and weird because there's not much to go on.
Something that was kind of funny. So they've done like a little bit of like pre-screening and testing and everything like that for the costumes. So apparently Ewan McGregor actually had the costume on while like at the set for The Mandalorian because they were apparently doing some like test shots for certain things. So everybody on The Mandalorian for like straight up a week were like, oh my god, Ewan McGregor is here, he's dressed up like Obi-Wan. And so like everyone kind of freaked, but it was confirmed that he's not going to be making a cameo. Who knows?
Probably not.
Maybe they'll throw it in randomly. Oh,
I mean, he had to be super old to make a cameo in Mandalorian.
I just kept thinking of.
You know what they could do? Ahsoka could be into the Obi-Wan show for like a little bit. Not necessarily as a cameo, but like in one episode, kind of like how they did in The Mandalorian, where since it's in between Rebels and Order 66, like they could talk about like he's revealing like this is really what happened with us after the betrayal of the clones, and she's like, yeah, I kind of had a heart with Maul, and he's like, oh, he's still out there, yada yada yada, and then he like sends her on her way in a sense of like giving her directions on what to do because she's still not necessarily a Padawan, but she's not like at master level yet, and we never see her get to that point where she could do all of these
Jedi like
things.
Night level.
Yeah, she's like, well, not even night level, but yes.
Okay. So are we talking like Guardian level?
Yeah, she's like a Guardian. But yeah, That would be cool to see him kind of like guide her for a second and be like, I have to stay here and protect him, like yada yada yada. This is what you should do, and this is what you need to do because I can feel through the Force. This is happening, and it could be all this thing where they could, send her to Yoda at the time, or it could be where she has to meet Cal to help with the new Jedi Order, or it's just like go and do good. It's a bunch of routes they could go with it, but I feel like that could be a cool little tidbit in there to make the show a little interesting.
Yeah,
I agree.
I don't know where Ahsoka got her remaining training.
Obi-Wan.
That's a very good possibility. You know what I mean?
Grogu.
But
Grogu.
it better
Mace
not be
Windu.
no Rey training herself bull, where she's like, well, I was swinging a lightsaber at a rock and I cut it, and now I know how to use it. And yeah,
I
so
can swing it.
we don't need that. So yeah, that
Wait,
would
hold
be
on.
really cool.
Can we think about the Jedi training age, maybe more specifically for Grogu? Because if you think about it, Anakin and Grogu are the same age, older than Ahsoka. So would Grogu be more experienced than Ahsoka in a way?
In the ways of the Force, yes. He's physically more. He's more atoned and stronger in the Force than she is.
Well, doesn't the Yoda species have like 2 brains? So that's like a given.
So here's something that like I thought of.
I don't know.
Number
That's a good
one,
question.
we don't understand the full aging like idea behind their race. Another thing is he was secretly trained at the Jedi Temple. He was probably trained a specific way, so we don't really understand how his training was compared to other ones. Like maybe he was actually, here's another thing, maybe he was being trained by Yaddle, and that's why we never saw her at all doing anything.
And she was the one that got him out.
Oh,
He died.
Nah, Yaddle would definitely be the type to like protect him from Anakin, like die protect.
What you doing, boy?
So like but like that's kind of the thing. We don't understand his training because of how different like he's the same age as Anakin, but he was going cuckoo gaga while Anakin was going so it's like
he was going.
we have a problem there with difference of development. Like obviously
One was slaying
Anakin
kids. One was
developing a little faster than Baby Yoda than Grogu was. So I think that's something that like they'll probably, I hope they address it. I would hate it if they didn't, but it's Disney, so they like to explain things we don't care about. So yeah, but that's mostly my whole like tidbit on that is like, yeah, they're the same age, but it's a different level of training.
You're so on that, man. Like them being the same age, like you've been on that.
It's an easy thing for reference because like
I know, but you
see
like
2 different people like.
Well, one's a Fu Man, one's a Yaddle.
I know, so that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why we don't know how the training was for him.
That's true.
Yeah.
Does anyone?
What's the next?
That's what I was gonna say.
What's the next series?
Does anyone even want to
Series
talk about the
is-
Cassian one? Like
Cassian, Andor, and K2SO.
I'm a
It
You
is
can
big
take
a-
it or believe it.
It is
I'm a
a
big fan.
Rogue One prequel series during the formative years of the rebellion.
I
They
know.
actually put quotation marks around formative. I don't know why.
Maybe
And then
they-
it is a spy thriller.
Oh.
So all I'm imagining is like
Little Cassian.
K2SO up in like a little vent lower in Andor. Dun, 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 dun. That's
He's
what
the
I-
imposter.
That's like the go-to.
Dude,
But yeah, so
honestly,
that's just sit there. I mean, it was on the
don't want
list,
this.
so I was like,
I know. I'm not
I mean,
excited for the show.
I could take it or leave it. At that point, they're
Let's
trying to
leave
revamp a character. It's kind of like
You know what they're
how
doing?
Marvel's trying to revamp
They're
Scarlett
milking.
Johansson as the Widow in their
They're
own
milking.
series or
yeah,
a movie. As we already know where it ends up. So I mean, what's the point?
yeah. Just to hop on a little tangent there,
I
the
was gonna
fact that
say.
they didn't put that one in instead of Captain Marvel just makes me and irks me. Like, it just makes me mad. Throw Captain Marvel in as like a cameo, and then she wasn't even in Endgame barely at all until the very end. It's like that's all she needed to have been.
Useless.
Introduce her there. I don't care. Like, all right, but that's beside the tangent.
I mean, they also wanted
Marvel
to
was a
introduce-
couple of weeks ago.
They wanted to introduce Taskmaster, who's a bomb ass villain, but we're not. tangent.
Only reason.
Yeah, that was it. Cassian, this show is not, in my opinion, not needed. No one cared for the character, really. No one really wanted this series in the first place. Rogue One was fine as it is. I mean, I personally had a little... I didn't think it was great. There were some good things about it, though. Some things that were kind of cringe. You know, like the whole beach scene. They're like, let's hold hands and kiss at the sunset, you know, of our doom.
Did they kiss, though? Did they kiss, though?
Technically, they did.
But we didn't see it.
It was cut, but...
It was implied, but we didn't see it, though.
Anyways.
Not canon.
It's not canon. Darth Vader scene. Anyways, I don't think we need this. First of all, it's another in between 3 and 4 series. I'm so tired of that. Like, yes, a lot of stuff happened in it, but we have so much stuff that we already have content-wise that happens in between that we don't need it anymore. Can we get stuff in between the original and sequel trilogy, like The Mandalorian?
True.
Because there's so much more of a time gap there, and there's so much more stuff you can do. And you can introduce a lot more characters that aren't necessarily conflicting with other characters that are already in the canon of that time frame.
Yeah.
Like with games, with TV shows, like they just keep doing it over and over. And I'm like, you're just milking the cow, beating the dead horse, flipping non-existent burgers. Like, I'm tired of it, man. It's I'm just like, I don't want this show. I don't care for it. The droid was hilarious. I love the droid. I don't care for the actor and this character.
It's about the only thing that's going to be a saving grace for it.
Yes, literally.
Yeah.
So what if they do this is off topic 100%, but what if they do a Lando and his droid fetish off series?
Let's leave that droid fetish into everyone's imagination. We don't want that IRL. Like that, and that's one thing I don't like that a lot of big companies do is when you get one character that at this point is either already pre-existing or is like up and coming, they're like, oh yeah, everyone likes him. But then they're like, we're going to make series, we're going to make comic books, we're going to make games and movies and everything with one character, money. And I'm like, well, now you just milked the crap out of it. Like, I didn't want all of this. I liked how he was. Continue where you were going.
Darth Maul series, though? Like...
No, we don't need that.
Yes, we do.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do.
Look,
Yes,
they
we do.
finished his arc with Clone Wars and Rebels. Like
They started right where he's falling. That's literally where they start first episode.
They need the whole progress between movie and Clone Wars.
Clone Wars and Rebels was beautifully done for Darth Maul. Honestly, more Clone Wars than anything. I mean, if you want a whole movie of him just falling from a trash chute, going into just going crazy, all for it. Make it animated. Make it on your own.
I think you're right. I think we got plenty of information with how he ended up and where he was resurrected per se with the actual spider legs in the trash. I think we got plenty of information how he started to rule Mandalore. I hate
which
to
is
admit
awesome.
it, but I love Darth Maul, but I think you're right. I think we got plenty of info there.
And trust me, Darth Maul is one of my favorite Sith or dark side characters because he was portrayed and written so well through Clone Wars and Rebels. Like, you don't need an individual series. You don't need a movie off of them. The only one you could possibly do it and not milk the crap out of would be Darth Vader. And that's only if you do the stuff that they're doing in the comics, because that can delve more into his conflictions with himself and his past, basically fighting Maul in that Sith cave. Like, that could be a way you could bring Maul in there as another, or cameo. Like, that's something, one, fan favorite. You can bring Hayden Christensen back as well, because that would be awesome. Two, you wouldn't be able to milk it because there's so much content they're already making for him. And then three, it's Darth Vader. Who doesn't like Darth Vader? Who the frick wanted this Cassian Anderson mother flipping burger dude? Like, ain't nobody asked for him to be in this.
I think Kathleen may have wanted that.
Kathleen Kennedy, get your Kathleen butt out of there. Like, I'm tired of you.
Yeah.
Not very Disney mood of you.
No, it's not cash
very
money.
Disney of you.
My Disney mood left when they started milking Marvel.
Oh, trust me.
That's when my
They ain't
Disney
milked
mood
it dry
left.
yet. They still got some juices left. That's
they're gonna go. Dude, that cow is like.
That cow's anorexic, just like, stop milking the money. Squeak, squeak.
Shit. Like, dude,
Dry milk.
Yeah.
It's powder milk.
That's
now.
how you get dry milk. Yeah.
Kevin Feige, you're going to comics. Smack some of that food in that cow's mouth.
I think you're right, though. I think Darth Vader has has so much lore and so much anticipation and love behind the character that we saw so much in the movies. But man, if we got an in-between series between 3 and 4,
Like,
we would eat that
yeah.
up. Would eat that up.
Even though
Yeah.
I just was proclaiming how I hate stuff in between 3 and 4, that would be the only
Mhm.
exception because you can delve more into lore, into a fan favorite character, and James Earl Jones for the voice, Hayden Christensen for them flashbacks, and hashtag a little voice, and maybe like mask coming off kind of deal. Dude, like that is a sploosh in my pants right there.
Are you doing a
Nerd wise.
Hunger Games?
Yeah.
Yes, I was. Yes, I was because I love it
What's
so
going on?
much.
Yeah. So I agree and also disagree. The reason why is because Vader is one of those characters who he is super dope because there's not a lot about him. So like obviously we know about Anakin, but then like the actual Vader side, like spoiler alert for anyone who has been living under a rock and hasn't played the video game Fallen Order. But like
Wait.
the-
Have you finished it? You cool spoiling this, Nova?
Oh yeah. I pretty much know what goes on.
Okay, spoil.
But like the end with Fallen Order, that rocked my socks off.
That
I was
literally
like,
gave me chills, dude.
Like I was so shook.
Yeah.
And then like seeing him in Rogue One, that was amazing. So and like even that little tidbit we got at the end of Clone Wars, that was
Oh,
fantastic.
Even in Rebels, him and
I feel
Ahsoka.
like, yeah, so I feel like sometimes allowing a character just to be like this powerful, almost like he almost is like one of those like devil characters that comes in and just wreaks havoc, screws stuff up, and then dips. And like that's kind of what I love about Vader. Like I don't know, like that's just one of my favorite things. And the
But-
fact that like everyone knows about him, everyone completely understands it. They know about his power. But the fact that he's like a mysterious character.
It's also because no one knew he was Anakin except for like a certain select Jedi, like
Yeah.
Ahsoka.
Yeah.
You know, so everyone thinks he just popped out of the womb like this. You know, no, they didn't.
Who is this man?
Who is the cyborg?
That's the thing, though. Whenever if they do somehow someday make a Vader spinoff, they can do the same thing, though. They don't have to make it all about
Yeah.
Vader with his helmet off, thinking in his little water tub, thinking like, "Oh, what?
I'm
why do
in
that?"
pain.
He can.
Combination.
He can. No, they can make the story totally about whoever he's pursuing at the time, mainly focus on them, and then he comes in at the last minute and he is that mysterious, non-mysterious character. Like, it doesn't have to be like him
Yeah.
the entire time on camera. It could be him at the very end, and it still be called the Vader Show because he's in it. You know.
They could do a little something with like a Star Killer thing where they find a Jedi he's hunting, and they're like, "I want to make you my apprentice because you're strong in the Force," and then Palpatine finds out and he kills him, and that like haunts him for like the next, if they go this route, haunts him the next season where he's hunting other Jedi or conspirators, and he's like still conflicted on that, and it's like flashback to when he was murdering them chitlins, flashback to when he was training with Obi-Wan, who was like a dad / older brother to him, you know, like that's something cool that they could do. And Vader's like a character, yes, that is basically the definition of evil in the sense of he'll come in, wreak havoc, do the Emperor's bidding, and leave. But it would be cool to see a series of him becoming that. Like that's why it'd be good in between, where he's not at the point where he's the Sith Lord. He just got into this, you know, suit of armor.
He's an intern at this point.
Yeah, he's an intern. He hasn't even become a full-time employee. He's not even seasonal yet. Like he's an intern.
So I could see that. The only problem that I have is like, so first, whenever I think of like, when I think of pre-Vader, I know it's not like right when he became Vader, he just like flipped a switch, but it's the idea of like, we saw Anakin grow for 3 episodes. We watched like seeing his emotions, how his emotions attached to him, the emotions that he had for Padme, for his mother. So that type of stuff, like obviously see a lot there. I would love a show about him that didn't explain him coming into it, but explained his humanity in a sense. There's a comic strand that talks about a clone trooper that he becomes friends with, and well, a stormtrooper,
Is
but
that the one with the lightsaber, or is that the
No.
those are Legends?
no. So this one is that one. I don't know what that one's from, but this one,
I'm
well,
Googling.
obviously it's Legends. Like, I mean, it's
Well,
a comic.
it
It's
might
not
be.
canon, but yeah, that would be something that I'd be interested in, because you'd see a humanish side from like the perspective of like, oh, the Sith Lord actually likes another individual who's living. So having that kind of pull on it, and like we saw a lot of his humanity in the last episode of his reign of terror, which is 6, because he was chilling, and he helped out his little boy and gave himself up for his little boy. So it's just like, I don't know, there's
for Junior.
yeah, so there's a lot that I feel they've explained about Vader, to the point where it's like, let him be that character, let him be this monster who has a good side. We like both sides. I don't need to see the side in between where he's like sitting there. Like, I read about how he sat there and pondered on the loss of Padme, and like the part where he actually went back and like visited her grave. Like, that stuff hits. But
yeah, the hard part is that
Vader's
we still know how it ends up. And he's
I know.
still a Darth Vader. He's still a Sith until the very, very end. So no matter what we see in like a spin-off series of how much he contemplates, how much he regrets, how much he hates the fact of what he did, it still won't change, no matter how much we want him to.
Yeah, and also the hard part is also looking at it as like the original trilogy was written without the full idea of like, hey, we're gonna bring all these in at some point. So it was like, you're seeing a Vader as this guy is a villain. He hates people, he kills people, and he likes to choke. That was what he was. And so like
Darth Daddy.
Bringing in like a series
Vader.
in between that, and then having like the next iteration that we see of him be that Vader, it's like, it's so hard for some people to see sometimes. So
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah,
that's why
absolutely.
like I would love this type of series where you explain a little bit, or we see more Vader, because I think they have the technology to make him amazing, like we saw in Rogue One. But I don't know, I like the mysteriousness of Vader, even though he's not mysterious, but like he is. But yeah, I don't know. So I sit with that.
You guys keep talking. I'm Googling this.
Oh, okay.
I'm still on this.
Another fun fact is I actually had never watched a single Star Wars movie until last Christmas.
Man, you gave Star Wars your heart, huh?
I did. All of it. All of it.
Last Christmas,
all of it.
I gave Vader my heart.
Yep.
The very
yeah.
next day,
Literally,
stabbed it away.
the movie was coming out in December, and one of my best friends was like, yo, I bought us tickets. And I was like, I don't even know what Star Wars really is. So I was like, I guess I'll watch some.
Wow.
Watched it straight up through, and I was like, I love it. I love it all. I love
Man,
everyone.
That's the beautiful thing about the Star Wars community, is that even if you haven't seen it since, I mean, even 4 years ago, you said that you saw it last year.
Literally last year.
Man, like that's the beautiful thing, is that we can still get so many fans every single year, every single month. They just get addicted to it, and next
like I'm an addict.
Talking on podcasts.
Yeah, like I got Kylo Ren's spaceship right there. I got a Death Star puzzle. I got the Death Star coming in right now from Lego, because your boy is now broke. Oh yeah, I wanted to get that one so bad, but I've been saving up because I wanted the Death Star.
Now you see Baby Yoda right there.
I do.
I mean, sorry,
I
Grogu.
do. Does he have this little
Mando?
Joy-Con thing with
Mando's
him?
hard to see, but dude.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. I am sorry though, you had to join when the sequels.
I know. So here's another thing. I actually I dated a girl whose dad was hardcore Star Wars fan, but I just didn't know any of it. But obviously you have to talk to the dad. So like I went with them to see Rogue One, and then I think I went with them to see Force Awakens. But I knew nothing. Like I was just like, cool.
Man.
Yeah.
That
like
must be tough. Like,
technically the first movie I saw was whichever one of these new ones came out. That was the first one I saw.
Okay.
And luckily I didn't love it. So I didn't get hooked.
Man.
Yeah. In the span of 2 weeks, I watched I watched it actually how it came out, and then I watched it chronologically.
Okay, that's what's up.
Gotcha.
So yeah,
Gotta mix and
good.
match it.
So there are light clones that wielded lightsabers. One force or one group is called Task Force 99, aka.
Oh, that's what you're looking up? I
So
thought you
like-
were
Oh,
looking
but
up
we'll never hear about that though.
I
But
thought you were looking up the friend of Vader.
no, I was on
Oh.
the whole lightsaber wielding stormtroopers. That's
When you
a lot more
say
interesting.
wield,
that.
do you mean like
Like he literally had one and used
properly
it in
trained, or
combat.
just like Finn picked up the lightsaber and started swinging it?
Like Finn picked up a
Like,
lightsaber.
Okay.
Oh, like he didn't make it himself. Like
No,
find his
he-
own
not
kyber
a-
and
no.
assemble it and get the
No
materials.
force
He just
sensitivity.
found it and gzz, what's this?
Goosh.
Oh, nani no susu.
Nani?
Oh my ocean. Anyways, yeah. So, I believe they have a canon version of them. They're also known as the Bad Batch, but it's more of like a nod to the actual canon Bad Batch, vice versa. But I think most of the ones that have wielded lightsabers are not canon. But I think there is one, the Task Force 99, that is. So, yeah. Way off on that tangent that we were talking about a while ago. That was very dedicated.
Took you a minute, huh?
It's because no one would specifically say if they were canon or not. And I'm like, guys, this
Yeah.
is Google. Give me a specific answer.
I don't know how I feel about clones wielding lightsabers.
Well, it's not like it was a whole bunch. It was just like one or two of them.
I mean, if you think about it,
Yeah.
Commander Cody
But what about Finn?
picked up.
But he's a stormtrooper.
Commander Cody picked up Obi-Wan's for like a brief second.
He's
That
like,
was true. That was a little dope.
There you go.
That was a little something spicy to
Yeah.
throw in there.
That's
mean,
a
but
whole.
there's
That's a
other
whole hit right
things.
there.
You can use to combat against lightsabers, but the Beskar spear we saw against Ahsoka Tano
best
clearly
scar. Mm-hmm.
holding
Just his
up.
armor. He literally just went
Oh
like
my
this.
gosh, can we
blocked
talk
both
about
sabers.
that?
I was like,
Yes, let's
The
talk
fact
about
that
Oh,
Beskar
yeah.
can.
Well, that's the thing. Beskar
Hold
is
up.
known for deflecting lightsabers and blasters.
freaking vibranium. I was like, what?
Yeah, it's
Better.
definitely vibranium.
Better than vibranium. I mean,
Well, I mean, we don't know how vibranium would hold up, so we can't say that.
but when we think about it, I mean, if we're allowed
Disney
to get into
owns
the
it,
lore
so
here,
probably.
Vibranium absorbs vibrations.
no,
Lightsaber
that's
straight
right.
heat.
Yeah.
Cut right through vibranium. Come on. Beskar for life.
But yeah, that's why Beskar is super valuable.
I would like to see a lightsaber up against Thanos's sword because that thing could cut straight through Cap's shield with no problems.
Yeah, and so that lightsaber is going to cut through that double wielded sword. Yeah, like bam.
Also, that was the worst designed sword ever. He would have cut himself so many times. Wouldn't even
You know what that reminded me of?
Might be able to fly with it.
That's what I was thinking.
yeah, practical at all. It was literally like it was a helicopter.
Angled the blades a
wing.
little bit.
It was
See,
so stupid.
literally what happened was they're like, we're going to make him fly in as his big entrance. And they're like, nah, it's like, but we kind of already designed the sword that way. They're like, we'll keep the sword. It looks cool, but he's not helicoptering in. It's like, well, deleted scenes.
Deleted scenes. Yeah.
It's like, but it's even more deleted because it's not there.
So you're saying
I'm gonna
Thanos can helicopter.
Thanos is an inquisitor. He can helicopter it.
But out with the sword.
Yeah, but obviously it's thick inquisitor blades.
They hadn't developed kyber crystals yet.
So he's got the pre-kyber.
He's got the pre-alpha beta.
Yeah,
He's got the pre-alpha of the lightsabers.
exactly. And
I'm
then
gonna. I found the full article about the. I think the comic strand is legit the friend of Vader. That's what the comic strand is. I'm gonna send you guys the article because legit, it's actually a super in-depth article about this clone and like how he was in the like. It's crazy how well written it was. And
Doesn't
it was like
Vader-
I'm convinced.
Isn't
It's like
Vader like
12
still in charge of the 501st?
yeah, technically.
Yeah, I would believe
This
so.
guy, he was a clone pilot, so like that's where he connected because Anakin was a great pilot, and so
Oh,
he
yeah.
actually commended this clone for being such a good pilot, and that's how they became friends. It's like literally
The betrayal.
it's such a good storyline that like I hate the fact that it was just made as a comic and just like brushed under the table
That's why we need the live action show, man, because it's supposedly rumored
or
anyways,
something like that.
that they
or something
wanted
like
that they
that.
wanted to happen, and
Something.
Hayden Christensen will come back. So I'm like, yes.
Well, yeah, because they already cut him out of all of his Rise of Skywalker stuff. The fact that they had scenes actually put in with him.
I know. And then they're like,
Garbage.
Kathleen Kennedy's like, no, we're not doing any of that.
It takes away from Rey. No, we need to take
It takes
everything away
away.
from Rey. We need to take Star Wars
Totally.
away from you.
You shouldn't be in charge. She shouldn't be a Skywalker or a Jedi. And I don't know what's going on with those guys over there.
I
Let's
would've
just
been
take
fine
Kathleen Kennedy.
And
push her off the
I would have been. I'm fine with Rey as a Jedi. I hate the fact that she
Oh my
wasn't
God.
trained. She had no training. She just randomly
Bunch of
appeared.
things.
Hey,
picked
where'd
up a
she get
lightsaber
her-
and was like,
Where'd she get her Kyber crystal for her yellow lightsaber? Like,
No, she steals lightsabers.
But hold up,
Yeah.
hold on. We're still ignoring the fact that Leia was a trained Jedi at one point from Luke.
but that's canon. Like from Legends and this, that made
I
sense.
know
She
it
did.
sucks. It sucks, but
What?
she still could have trained Rey, and we see that a little bit in the last episode where she was talking to her about her training. I mean, it's very possible.
I mean, she could have, but like at the same time, Leia's literally running a whole resistance. You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
a
Rey's
government.
like,
Okay,
Should we
true.
train today?
Very
She's
true.
like, I need a resistance.
I need to
stuff."
find the Death Star plans.
I
Leia,
know,
that
we
was
need to
I
kill
talked
this
30
thing.
years
to
ago.
Mon Calamari about the trap.
There's a trap.
It's a trap.
Dude, one thing
Oh.
that I wanted to see was Finn to be an actual like Jedi because I knew from day one, from when I saw The Force Awakens, he was Force sensitive, and I've been calling it since then. And they finally confirmed it in Rise of the Skywalker, but they did it in such a whack way.
Disney
When-
spit in your face.
They did. They went, and I'm like, oh god, that's nasty AIDS. But I'm like, what the frick is this? And when he was falling in the pit, you know, he's like, Ray, I've always wanted to tell you. Everyone's like, oh, he's gonna confess his love. No, he was gonna say, I'm Force sensitive. Who the frick says that as they're dying? I'm about to die.
Like, what would it matter? Like that
I
means
can
nothing
move-
to her.
I can move
Ray,
things
I'm
with my
Force
mind.
Oh, okay.
I'm just
cool.
imagining him being like,
Bye
I'm
now.
Force sensitive, but I don't have the Force powers to actually get myself out of this. None of that. I'm just
For
like
real, though.
low
For
level.
real.
He's like, I wasn't trained by like Leia and Luke or anything. Looks
You
at
know
him.
what I would have been fine with? This is another thing I would have been fine with.
I
would've been fine.
honestly.
Oh, go
Oh.
for it. Go for it.
Ooh.
No.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say the force sensitive part for me on Finn was like, of course, it was like the very last part, episode 9. They're on the ship and they were trying to locate like the ship that was doing like the thing, like projecting whatever.
Yeah.
And like they're like, oh, there's so many ships, we don't know. And then Finn just looks up and he's like, that one.
Hey, that one.
That one.
Hey,
And
that one.
he's like, I just have a feeling, and I'm like, what feeling is that, Finn? You wanna
Get the hell out of here.
explain on later?
Sir, you're losing circulation.
The little midichlorian just like tickle his chin.
And count is over 9,000.
Yeah.
So much-
Wait a second.
Oh dear lord.
We're waiting.
Oh,
Ah!
Oh God.
Oh dear god.
it's over 9,000.
But no, what I would have been fine with is like, okay, so again, it boils down to the Hayden Christensen stuff being legit removed from the movie. What would have been great is seeing actual scenes where like she's training from Anakin or something along those lines. That would have been
Ooh.
great, like a little like Force Ghost,
Little sky
Hopping
guy
over there.
action.
especially because like Carrie Fisher was dead during that movie, so they,
Oh, yeah.
they had that all through. It was all animated to do some of that stuff, so it was like
90%
you
of
didn't
it.
need to do that. Just make him.
What they
a
should have
ghost.
did.
Put him in there. He's still alive.
What they should have did was George Lucas's cut because J.J. Abrams' cut didn't do good. Kathleen Kennedy was like, "I'm gonna do my cut." Did even worse. George Lucas comes in, he's like, "Let me try my cut." Did phenomenal. Kathleen Kennedy's all salty and was like, "We're gonna merge our cuts together." And it's like, "Wait a second, that's not what's gonna happen." And then that's how that's how Rise of the Skywalker was made.
Yeah.
And it's a crap fest.
So real quick, I'm intrigued. I don't know if this was in the first podcast that we did. What is out of the sequels? Rank them.
Oh, we actually didn't rank those. So great.
Rank the
Um,
sequels. I'm intrigued because we have some very different ideas here. I feel.
Well,
I mean, they're mostly on the same page where they all sucked, but I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
I got 8, 7, 9.
8,
I got
like, the
It being
best.
top.
I'm going
Yeah.
top. 8, 7,
Okay.
9.
Okay.
I'm going 7, 9, 8.
I I'm going 987 actually.
Wait,
No,
wait.
978,
Oh,
978,
Wait, are we
978.
guys? I'm going from best to
Best.
worst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That,
I said 879, and can I hear yours again?
You want 8 as number
9.
1?
Yes.
No,
Bro! What?
you want Last Jedi as number
Yes.
You want the space
that was
race. You want
dumpster
the space
fire.
chase
God,
to
everyone
be number
freaking
1.
hates it. Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
I freaking you missed the whole. Go rewatch the first podcast episode. It explains my theory there. But I freaking loved it, except for the casino scenes.
So you need a theory to explain why a movie's good? Not
No,
like,
I want to rehear
Oh, okay.
your list. That was it.
Man,
I was like, I just want to rehear it because I want to make sure we're on the same page.
the last hope of the rebellion is on the line. Let's rescue these animals at the casino.
I just said the casino scene was not my favorite. I didn't like that whatsoever. It didn't make sense.
and that ruined it for the whole movie.
talk about at the very end, the two main characters that were against each other the entire time, fought together, and then just got pissed off at each other and then separated again. So that's great writing.
Okay, can I hear your list again?
Just-
That's in the first podcast episode. For the love of God.
9, 7, 8. 8 is absolutely my least favorite.
9 is
798.
Hold on a second. 9 is your most favorite out of the 3.
Because it tried to fix the garbage that was set from 8.
But it was worse than 8. Okay.
If you try to fix something, I'll give you points. But if you just make a dumpster fire,
you didn't even try to
Okay,
fix.
hold
I'm not
on.
even gonna get into this.
Nova. Let's hear your opinion.
I'm
'cause
intrigued,
We're
yeah.
kind of tied here. What's
I
up?
think
Hi.
the way it goes in order, 7, 8, 9, it gets worse and worse. That 7, 8, 9 legit.
I have a Last Jedi poster. like
I
that.
was literally having an
All the different
aneurysm in my movie seat watching 9. I could
Don't even.
Mm.
8 has very many flaws, but 9
See, when you watch
is
7 and 8, you're like, yeah. You see 9, you're like,
it's
Oh no, for me, 8 is still the worst, just because the
I
fact that it
agree.
was
Everyone
they were all
is
they were
like-
just in space. They were like, oh, we're
It's
running out of
just like
fuel.
so
Oh,
much
we're
of
not
it.
gonna live.
but that's
Oh, they're
that's
on a
fine.
casino.
It doesn't need to whatever. I swear. I literally explained my defense in this in the first
Waste
podcast.
of
episode.
money.
I
Such
thought it
a
was
waste of
hilarious though. They just charged this shit. Like they could have done that the whole time. Like
money. Oh my god.
let's just ram hyper.
It is an Allahu Akbar moment. That's all I'm saying.
Just end the movie right there. I can
it's
agree
about
with
as
that.
useless as my Palestinian alarm clock.
Let's wait them out. Let's see what they do
That's
when their
terrible.
fuel ends.
Yeah,
What's the
No.
game plan?
Empire is
okay.
so
No, you can't
offensive.
ask me.
There's no way. There's no
So
way.
here, I would have liked 8 more if it was an hour and 36 minutes, hour and 40 minutes. They dragged it on for so much longer than it needed to be.
It was honestly the casino scenes that was it. If you take the
Okay,
casino
so
scenes out,
Take the
then, yeah,
casino
it
scenes
was
out
fine.
because garbage. Cut down the amount of time that it took for them to figure out, hey, let's charge up the ship that we've been manning for this entire time to blast through there. Hey, let's maybe get the escape pods out a little faster. Maybe someone could have thought of that a little earlier. But it's just like,
Let
and
people know.
the whole situation with like, I mean, I love the fact that Snoke died because he was a useless character to me. Like he just had
He
no.
was dope though. A dope.
Yeah,
dude.
he was cool, but like well, I mean, he was a Marvel villain for Star Wars. You don't care that they
This is
died.
Disney
He
we're
was
talking
there.
about.
He was good. He was a good villain. Then he died. It's like Ultron. Ultron was fantastic. Then he died, and people were like, "Ultron? That was an Avenger? Like there was a movie about it?"
I'm so mad
Yeah.
about that. There's so much they could have did with. Ultron.
I agree.
That's
I
a
agree.
different.
There's so much that
No,
could
I
have
know.
with Snoke. I mean, yeah.
I know. That's what I'm
It's
saying.
kind of
Like,
cool, but I mean, he was so like badass looking and evil looking and had the voice and everything, and then
It's Andy Serkis. You know he's going to be intimidating. Like, come on.
that totally decredits everything that you thought about him leading up to the moment that he died. It's like, oh wow, he might be this all new villain, and then he dies. It's like,
yeah.
But
wow,
you know
was
what?
that
It
it?
turns out he was
Yeah.
Palpatine.
It's so
when I heard
stupid.
like the
Oh my
Palpatine
gosh.
thing at the end, I was just like, "All right, who's got the dead horse? Where are we going? We got bats or we got clubs? What are we doing?" Like
look-
I was,
You look and you see a dried up cow. Just be like, "Help me, please."
yeah, because like,
Yeah.
yeah, there there's definitely. I mean, here's the thing. I didn't like any of them. I got turned on to Star Wars from 7. I mean, not turned on because it definitely, but like
It was a little.
I'd
say 3 was my turn on.
It was a nice arousal. I was like, huh, but
Oh my god.
That's a little bump in my pants. What's going on there?
Or is that just
Watches episode
I
1,
know.
realizes, oh god, no, what was this?
yeah.
Why does everyone hate the Phantom Menace?
Oh no, episode 2. I'm sorry, that's what really shrivels.
Oh,
me up.
Attack of the. Everyone hates Attack of the Clones too. I don't know why.
It's so bad.
You're bad. Okay, but
Okay.
Yeah.
Hang on, real quick, just to that. The one thing I disliked the most about episode 1 was Disney trying to grab like on this whole idea of like, oh,
Disney didn't own it.
watch kid actor. No, I'm sorry, but like they harbored on the idea of like, oh, people like to watch kid actors.
Oh,
That was like
yeah.
their whole idea, and I was just like, no, we really don't. Like,
Don't
we're
care
fine
for it.
with
We're grown men.
Yeah.
We don't care for chitlins.
Now this is pod
Anakin.
racing.
Whoa.
I'm the best pod racer.
Oh, okay, sure.
Oh.
you
You
know.
just
Sure,
beat it.
bud.
Yeah, go
Okay,
ahead.
real quick, correct me if I'm wrong. 8 was had the salt planet, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yep.
freaking
Yep.
hated that with everything in my passion.
What? I thought
It
that was
a bunch
pretty
of ships and
dope.
one-
That was
and
pretty-
2 planets.
That was
So,
pretty
That
dope.
was cool.
Here's one thing why. Finn easily could have removed him from the
I-
series in the best way possible.
That scene, I agree. He should have died.
He
Very
should have
nobly.
died right there.
Yeah.
And
He
No,
wanted his character to die, but
Oh,
Kathleen
fuck
wanted to
that
pull
up.
a little bit more on PC police.
Guys, we all know that Kathleen Kennedy's the reason why the sequels are so bad.
I agree. I know.
But I don't think Finn should have died there. I think he should have continued on. I don't think that he should have like
My
been
man.
hit by Rose and be like, she's like, I love you. He's like, well, I'm gonna friend zone you. And I'm like, yeah,
You
you
wicked.
friend zone her. We know who your real love is. Ray. Psych!
Also, I hated the sequels because Kylo Ren, they did him dirty. They did him dirty. I
Kylo Ren
love
carried
so-
the sequels.
He
yeah,
carried,
but so I love the portrayal of him, absolutely.
Beautiful.
But like, just Last Jedi, when he's at the salt planet and he acts like a child. When he acts like a child, I literally was just like, this is really stupid. Like that just personally to me, I was just
Flashback to
like,
episode 7, just like,
not
oh
like
god,
it.
no.
I
What
know,
girl?
I know.
Man.
I just did not like that. And like that was one of the biggest things. Like I watched the movie and I was like, okay, like this is pretty chill. And then like right when that spot hit, I was like, why?
But I mean, it made sense too, because he wanted to kill
The
the
anger
master.
that he had
Yeah.
for Luke, yeah.
It made sense.
Yeah.
And I did love the fact that Luke was just like, ha, I'm not even here. And then just like pieced out.
Ooh,
That was
ooh,
fantastic.
ooh.
That was
And he's
great.
like, you son of a bleep plop.
You thought. But I mean, Kylo's wide body does kind of make up for that. You know.
Can you please
Oh, yeah.
put a shirt on?
Oh, yeah, the-
Stares at her.
Literally
Awkward.
doing some mind connection, and he's like, "Oh, Ray,
I'd
Wasn't
rather not do this
expecting
right
you.
now.
I
Yeah, me
understand,
neither.
right?
This
He's
is
just like
the
half
Sith Lord you're
naked.
looking for.
Whoa,
just
Ray.
lifting." Oh,
Jar Jar
Ray.
comes
Yeah.
in. Oh, Misa said what now?
Oh God,
Bro, I need him to be a Sith Lord and I need this beginning today.
Darth Binks, come on now.
Misa no, we're not Sith Lord.
Binks.
You about to die.
Why do you hate Sue so much?
Have you heard about Darth Plagueis?
Dude, 2 is so bad. Are you serious?
It's so good. What are you
No,
talking
it's
about?
not. First of all, CGI up the wazoo for like absolutely
Obi-Wan
no reason.
going to Camino.
Bro, they were
Obi-
trying.
Look, shit. Obi-Wan, that was fine. The
Yeah.
chemistry between Natalie Portman and Hayden Christensen was so bad. Even on set, they literally hated each other. When they kissed, they were literally biting at
Okay,
each other like
I-
little kids.
I
You could
skipped that
see-
scene, but
You
know.
could see how bad their chemistry was. The writing for the love scenes was terrible.
I hate
This guy's just like, I hate sand. I hate them all. And I'm like, shut the freak up. You freaking
meme
man
quality right there, though.
Oh,
what are you
yeah.
talking
I mean,
about?
like Clone Wars. Clone Wars could be summed up in maybe like 30 minutes, as
Like-
maybe an extra 30 minutes
I agree.
behind of episode 2.
Yeah,
I mean, episode 3.
That would have been fine. Attack of the Clones there were so many bad things about it. When I got to the ending,
Nope.
I was so happy because it's almost over. And then
Screw you, man.
Clone Wars fixed
Screw
Anakin's
you.
character so well. And then episode 3, I know that they didn't come out at the same time, but episode 3, Hayden Christensen's acting improved so much. Like, it was the last one of the trilogy. That one's one of my favorites because everything was just like concluding, and everyone in a sense went all out on their acting skills, and I like that. That was one of my favorites.
Clone 3 down. Yeah.
Anakin so much better. Attack the Clones, they just took their pants down and just went.
You underestimate my power.
You underestimate my.
He was a young, Jedi, you know, in that training. He's grown, obviously, like he says to Padme.
Yeah, 10 years, but still, like, you're not super awkward around women.
My goodness, you've grown.
Grown a bit. Ugh.
She's like, I remember when you were a child. Let's bang. I'm like, no, let's not. That's basically what happened.
I know.
Start of the movie, I remember you when you were a child. Middle of the movie, towards the end, we're smooching on a fireplace because you're technically kind of forcing me in a way.
And they get married. They get married.
Let me force you a pear into your mouth. Force pear.
She's like, show me the high ground. He's like, who told you that?
Where did you hear that from?
There was a meme.
As of Obi-Wan.
There's a meme where it's like when Obi-Wan finds out Padme is pregnant, he's like, it's Anakin, isn't it? She's like, well, would you be mad if Misa was a Bana girl?
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh, God.
In that scene where Obi-Wan has his hands over his mouth when he turned over, he was actually like, the actor was actually laughing. He was trying not to like laugh when he was doing that.
That's good.
That's great.
I still love the meme of Obi-Wan, Ewan McGregor, like in the car, and it's the green screen, and he's like, and everyone always throws in like the fiery background of like the whole city burning and something like that. And it's just like me on my outward stroll with depression and anxiety far behind.
One of the funny ones is like the fight scene where Anakin's kind of like this, and Obi-Wan's is like this, and it's always like the stripper.
The stripper, yeah.
I'm like, that's hilarious.
No, I hate you.
Like, I'm gonna show you the high ground.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
I told Zeus this. I know you're probably about to end this.
So we're gonna conclude this after your statement.
Okay. I told Zeus this, but so Attack the Clones. Okay, one thing I just find beautiful about Attack the Clones. So, Senator Palpatine, technically, goes to Count Dooku, says, hey, Count Dooku, I want you to go and kill Padme. You know, can you do that for me? He says, yeah, I could do that for you. So Count Dooku's going, but then he says, you know what? I'm going to hire a bounty hunter to go kill Padme. Hey, Jango Fett, could you go kill Padme for me? And he's like, yeah, I could do that. You know, give me some money. Jango Fett goes, and he's like, you know what would be cool? If I hired another bounty hunter to go kill Padme for me. So he hires another bounty hunter, says, can you do it? Yeah, I could do it, no problem. Goes to Coruscant. The bounty hunter then proceeds, hey, droid, I need you to go kill Padme for me. Can you go do that for me? The droid says, yeah, I'm programmed to do that. I'll go do that. Droid goes. The droid then releases centipedes and says to the centipedes, hey, could you kill Padme for me? She's right there. Go kill her. And the centipedes are like, yep, we can do that. And there's just a chain of like responsibilities.
That's
just
hilarious.
Connected. And it's like, what the hell is going on?
Honestly, like that's another reason. Like, come on, that was not.
I thought it was beautiful.
I mean, it's hilarious, but it's so.
And instead of so they chase after the bounty hunter Jango hires. Instead of Jango going to go kill Padme, he then proceeds to follow all that whole chase and kills the bounty hunter. So he doesn't. So there's no connection. But they find the connection to the bullet. So it's like, God dang it, Jango Fett.
Could have just
toxic dog.
So
Camino.
Camino. Jango's like, shit.
She's like, I kind of live here right now. How you doing, Master Jedi?
Boba, close the door with my armor in it, please.
He's like, oh, that's some nice armor. It looks very familiar. Really?
Wow, that's pretty interesting.
Fascinating. Guess you've never seen a Mandalorian.
Bubba, get slave one running. Anyway.
like something about slaves.
Oh dear lord.
Anyways.
Younglings?
Master Skywalker.
Master Medieval, what do we go to? Okay, that's gonna wrap it up here for this episode. We really went on a tangent, went off the shows to the movies, but it's cool beans.
Worth it.
Yeah, appreciate everybody
so
for
much.
listening and watching wherever you're listening and watching this on. Share this to your family and friends. You know, let's hear wars about this, start wars about this, end wars about this. You know, it's good stuff. Good stuff. Don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on the Spotify's, Apple Podcasts, whatever. I mean, whatever you do in your free time. You know, it's a free country. You do what you want. But I'm Captain Zeus. These fine gentlemen are the voices, Nova, and our current guest star here, Roman. And we will see you guys in the next episode. Peace out, Girl Scouts.
Peace.
お前はおしんでよ。